What are you doing here? I was just passing by. Passing by? So late. I just finished walking when I heard your voice. You tell him the truth because you don't want to lie to the person you love or create any misunderstanding. Is everything alright? The nervousness is taking over you. You are not sure why. Is it because I'm seeing Jimin for the first time in a week or because he caught me eavesdropping? Let's not discuss it here. Come into my office. Jimin turns and walks back to his office. You take a moment to calm down. He seems to be in a bad mood, but he doesn't look angry. You missed him, but you didn't wish to meet him like this. Taking a deep breath, you walk into Jimin's office. You find Jimin at his table with his arms on the desk, head hanging low. Are you alright? Hearing you, Jimin raises his head and tiredly looks at you, just exhausted. You can talk to me if you want. You don't want to know, but you mentioned my name. You heard something? Not much. I just heard my name. It has nothing to do with you, and my friend thinks you can help me with the problem, but I don't think so. Is there something I can do? Even if you could, I don't want to involve you in this. Protectiveness and concern clear in his voice. Involve me? In what? You are more confused. It might destroy me and the company. I don't want you to get hurt. He's talking in riddles. Something is bothering him. I want to know more, but I don't want to push him or force him into telling me. Maybe he's uncomfortable in sharing it with me. You decide to change the topic. Maybe we should go home? You are right. Jimin gets up from the table and approaches you. Let's go home. Your insides clench at the word home. Somehow, it feels very intimate when he says it so casually. The drive home is quiet, as well as the night. You can feel that Jimin is somewhere else, deep in his thoughts and problems. You wished you could help him. The next day, you wake up feeling nervous. It's a presentation day. You have got your own things to worry. This presentation matters a lot for your assessment. You taking a last glance at yourself in the mirror before leaving for your office when Jimin walks into your room. How are you? You asked him. I'm fine, don't worry about me. You have a presentation today, don't you? That's all you should worry about. I know, but I'm worried about you also. Today should be about you. I'm a big boy and I can deal with my problems on my own. He assured you. You sure? Totally, he reassured. What do you think about pancakes? Love them. Great, I ordered some from the cafe. You are spoiling me. With breakfast? That's not spoiling you. Then what's that? You will find out soon. He winked. You are nervous, and so is Lily. This project will define both of your future in this company. Jack also inspired you both a little. All this worrying makes me wanna pee. Lily's words made both of you and Jack shocked. I will be right back. You and Jack chuckle watching Lily's disappearing bag. You watch as Emma and other intern leave the conference room where they presented their project. That was awful, Emma exasperated. Have you seen Mr. Park? I wanted to run away when his eyes lands on me. The other intern spoke. You shouldn't have looked at him then. We failed because of you. Emma blamed rudely on him. Because of me? I did most of the work while you just stood there and smiled. The other boy spoke in a louder tone, being so done with her behavior. At least I did it well. Seeing them, Jack spoke. I'm happy I'm not teamed out with Emma. You agreed with him. You can't help but think about what Emma and the other intern said. Everyone is strict in there. You heard Veronica calling you and Lily for your presentation. The presentation goes smoothly. The manager seems content, although Jimin's face is unreadable. Veronica spoke up. You mentioned product placement. Where do you plan to place the ad and who you plan to work with? We want placement in the media. You see, Lily is nervous. She can't answer the question. You glance at Jimin, who furrows his brows. We can't fail. I can't fail in front of Jimin. Media? That's nothing new, Veronica asked. Media means social media bloggers. You replied to Veronica saving Lily. You can go now, girls. She said with a slight smile. You leave the conference room as the other interns enters. All the interns present their projects. The managers and Jimin stay in the conference room to discuss their presentations. Passing the room, you suddenly hear your name. Wine is very talented girl, you hear Jimin saying. Veronica agreed with him. You are right. She is very extraordinary and always has unique ideas. She is a treasure of our company. Exactly. Veronica again agreed to Jimin. Does Jimin really think that of me? You don't notice as Lily approaches you before she speaks. Did you hear anything? They said our project was great. You lied a little to Lily because you thought she would doubt something about your relationship with Jimin. Really? Lily asked, being excited. I heard just a bit, so I'm not completely sure. I'm sure you heard it right. I guess they're not going to tell us anything until 10 of us have to go. I'm so afraid. You enter the penthouse and notice Jimin on the sofa with his laptop on his hands. You're shocked to see him early. You're home. Left early to work at home. I needed some peace. Am I bothering you? You can never bother me. Besides, I've already finished. Jimin closes his laptop and walks up to you. Your heartbeat quickens with his approach. You did great today. Even after we failed question and answer? It was just one question, but you are amazing up there. Thank you. Though you act normal from outside, but from inside you are on cloud nine. The managers are fascinated by you. So am I. Really? I like you a lot, man. More than I dare to admit. His voice suddenly turned hoarse and deep. You are astounded by his sudden bold confession. Gosh, where is this conversation going? He continued. I have broken a million rules for you, and I keep breaking more and more. Your heart squeezes with his emotion you hear in his voice. There's something about you I just can't deny. You are truly a treasure of our company. But outside of it, I don't ever want to let you go, Wine. You hold your breath as Jimin confesses his feelings. The warmth of his words fills your insides. He doesn't need to say it out loud for you to understand that his feelings run deep, deeper than he is ready to admit. Without thinking much, you throw your arms around Jimin's neck and pull him into a tight embrace. As you pull out of the hug, your eyes meet. You can read so many emotions going through his eyes. It makes your heart squeeze. Suddenly, Jimin connects his lips with yours in a tender kiss. You feel his kiss is different than the others. It feels more important, more meaningful. Suddenly, Jimin picks you up in his arms and carries you to his bedroom, never breaking the kiss. Jimin puts you down next to his bed, but he never releases the hold on you. Holding you by the waist, he looks deep into your eyes. Jimin leans towards you, leaving a soft kiss on your lips, making something in your chest squeeze. See what I'm talking about? I can't get enough of you. Jimin broke the silence. You still don't know how to react. His confession is just too sudden. All this time, you have been saying to yourself to control your feelings because you believed it was one sided. But suddenly, hearing him how he feels exactly like you is a completely new thing. You just stare at his deep eyes and find yourself drowning in them. You must have worked hard for this presentation. Let's sleep. And there you get another shock. You have been thinking that it was just his. There was no feelings, and today also you thought that it was just his and you both will end up getting intimate. But he asked you to sleep together. Just sleep. You felt a light kiss behind your ear. You were slightly startled. Sorry, did I frighten you? You whispered. You look up and see that you are already lying down face to face, and he is hugging you by the waist. You were so engrossed in your thoughts that you didn't realize when you opened his blazer and laid you down. Can I ask you something? You hesitate a bit. Sure, anything. He gave a slight smile. Will will we just sleep? You lower your head because you can't ask him, looking into his eyes. He smiled internally, understanding your thoughts and concerns. Well, do you want to do something else? Yet he thought to tease you a bit. You quickly look up at him. I didn't mean that. He laughed out loud, seeing you all nervous and flustered. I was just joking. He pulled you more close, crushing your head in his chest, and slowly started caressing your hair. I understand what you're thinking, but trust me, it's not just or mere attraction, it's more than that. Although our first time was just out of attraction or whatever it was, but after that I realized it's not just attraction or just an act on impulse. The more I stay with you, the more I want to be with you, the more I want to know you. And tonight, I just wanted to cuddle with you. I was just so happy and proud when everyone praised you. He looked down at you and see why did you stop talking only to find you sleeping peacefully. His heart swelled and an unknown feeling crept within his heart seeing you sleep so peacefully in his arms. He couldn't help but let out a chuckle, removing the baby hairs from your face that are distracting him from the view. He placed a light kiss on your forehead. You must be too tired. Sleep tight. Pulling your head more close to his chest, soon he drifted to his dreamland. The next day, you wake up enveloped in Jimin's hand. You feel his strong arms wrapped around you and muscular body pressed against your back. Good morning, gorgeous. You turn in his arms, coming face to face with him. His features are relaxed after sleeping, and a lazy smile is playing on his lips as he looks at you. Good morning. You put your hand on his chest, sliding it down his perfectly built body. I want to wake up to this view every morning. Jimmy lets out a chuckle, but as you move your hands lower, his laugh cuts off abruptly. You lean into Jimmy, leaving a light kiss on his lips. You are a tease. As you connect your lips for the second time, you hear a growl coming from Jimmy's stomach. You chuckle. Looks like someone is hungry. We skipped dinner yesterday, so I am hungry, he sulked. What do you say if I go get breakfast? He suggested. Perfect. I will try to be quick. He gave a wink and gets up. Jimin puts on some clothes and you take your time watching him. After Jimmy leaves, you get up and go to his closet looking through his clothes. Your fingertips tease expensive material. You can smell his scent in them. You swipe one of his shirts and put it on. You like the feeling of his shirt on you way better than your own clothes. A yawn escapes you and you decide to make yourself a coffee. As you pass the living room, you hear the elevator ding, announcing its arrival. Jimin was really quick. You watch as the doors open slowly. But the person who enters the living room isn't Jimin. You are way too shocked to see the person in front of you. The other person in front of you is also shocked like you. Gathering your courage, you finally speak. Jack, what are you doing here? I should ask you the same thing. Jimin, let me stay here. Let you stay here? He asked, being more shocked. You are completely at a loss for words. There is no way you can come up with a good enough lie, but telling the truth sounds even worse. You don't have time to think everything through when elevator door opens. And Jimin walks in the living room. Jack? Jimin is also shocked to see him. I guess you weren't expecting me, Jack replied. You should have called. If I knew you had a girl over, I would have. You just stand there being shocked and watch as Jimin and Jack exchange retorts. What's going on between them? It's definitely more than a work relationship. They must know each other. Jimin sighs heavily before raising his eyes to you. Let's get comfortable. It's going to be a long conversation. You and Jack exchange glances. I guess Jack and I both kept a secret of our own. Now I want to know his and he wants to know mine. You all take a seat on the couch, Jimin in the middle. Wine lives with me. You moved in with him? Jack asked you to confirm what Jimin said. It surprises me that you offered her to stay with you. How does this work with your no relationship at work rule? It's a long story, Jimin replies to him. The way they argue shows that they know each other pretty well. You can't take this anymore, you are too confused. How well do you know each other? You finally ask. Pretty well, Jack chuckled. Jimin takes a deep breath and looks at you. Jack is my brother. What? You are stunned. That's true, but we prefer to keep it quiet, Jack added. But you are the CEO and you are an intern. I told you I want to prove myself worthy before reaching high positions. You stare dumbly at both men while you try to arrange this new information in your head. They are so different. But now that you look at both guys, you start to see the resemblance. Not knowing the truth, you can't shake off the similarities between them. It's more than their looks, it's their personalities. They're completely different, but still there is something that gives away their kinship. They furrow their eyebrows the same way. How did I not notice it before? Why do you hide your relationship? You asked, breaking the silence. Because I don't want anyone to think that I am special, Jack answers. Wait, you have a different last name. That's my mom's last name. Jimmy's phone rings, interrupting your conversation. He picks up. You watch as his expression goes from relaxed to worried to angry as he listens to the other side. He hangs up, letting out a low growl of frustration. Everything's alright? Jack inquired. No, work problems. I have to leave. We will discuss everything later. You watch as Jimin gets up from the sofa and heads to his bedroom. You still have so many unanswered questions. There is still so much to discuss, and you want to discuss with Jimin in private. You don't understand how much you should share with Jack about you and Jimin. You make a fast excuse to Jack and rush to Jimin's bedroom. You walk inside, catching Jimin wearing only suit pants as he holds a shirt in his hands. For a moment, you forget why you came in here in the first place. You just admire his hot body. Jimin puts the shirt on and sends you a devilish smile. You wanted something? Well, I wanted to talk to you. You told Jack I moved in with you, but what if he asks more about it? You can tell him the truth if you want. He's my brother. We might not have the best relationship, but I can trust him. What happened between you two? That's a long story and I really need to run right now. Jimin approaches you and circles his arms around your waist, pulling you against his body. His lips find your ear, sending shivers down your spine. We will discuss everything tonight. He leaves a light kiss behind your ear. See you in the evening. Jimin exits the bedroom and you go back to Jack. You feel uncomfortable sitting next to Jack. He's your friend, but all the secrets out, it's confusing. Your gaze falls on the table and the box that Jimin brought earlier. Your stomach growls, reminding you that you haven't eaten since yesterday. Hungry? I can make something. You break the silence. Not really, but I wouldn't mind some tea. I will make some. You grab the box with breakfast and go to the kitchen. Jack follows you. You put your breakfast on the table and turn on the kettle. It's so weird to see you in this kitchen, and you know your way around here so well. I've lived here for 2 weeks already. Now I know why you didn't want us to come over to see your new place. Jack cracks a joke, but there is no humor behind it. You reach for the box, averting your gaze from Jack, and start eating your breakfast. Jack takes a deep breath before looking at you, his expression serious. Did you and Jimin? Jack trails up, but you understand what he wants to ask. He asked whether you and Jimin slept together. No, I just leave with him. You lie to him because you don't feel like sharing yours and Jimin's personal things. Jack looks unsure, but doesn't question father. The kettle whistles, distracting you from the conversation. You take your time to pour Jack a cup of tea. You feel Jack's gaze following you, but you ignore it. This mug is new. You bought it? Doesn't look like Jimin's style, he spoke. I wonder how Jack and Jimin get along. It looks strange, but they are still brothers, and Jack comes here often enough to notice the new mug. Do you come here often? You asked, ignoring his. Not really. Jimin and I barely talk since our relationship got destroyed. Destroyed? It's a long and ugly story. Short version, I messed up and Jimin hates me. Though you are confused, but you decide not to ask any further since you feel he's not comfortable in sharing. Jack stays for a bit, but your conversation feels too awkward. So a little later, Jack leaves. The rest of the day goes by uneventfully. Jimin didn't come back, but he texted you that he will be very late. It's already 11 p.m. Where is Jimin? You decide to read a book while waiting for him. You don't notice as you drift off to sleep. Sometimes later, you wake up. Glancing at the clock, you see it's already 1 a.m. I guess we will talk later. You feel thirsty, so you decide to go to the kitchen to grab some water. As you enter the kitchen, you see Jimin's back as he leans against the counter. You round the counter and approach him, noticing a glass with golden liquid in his hand. Jimin? Hearing your voice, he turns his head to you. His eyes are bloodshot, his posture sagging. You okay? Just exhausted. What happened? Just work problems. I'm sorry that you have to see me like this. He's insecure. He hates when people see his weakness. I like when you're real with me. I like the real you. I want to know what truly happens in your heart. Thank you, and whatever you say or don't doesn't help his mood a bit. You wished you could help him somehow. You went behind him and slowly started massaging his shoulder, his facial features relaxing slowly. You notice his eyes slowly closing, indicating he's falling asleep. Jimin, don't sleep here. Come, let's go to the bedroom. He just nodded and tries to get up, but he stumbled. You're quick enough to give him support. You help him walk to his room. You tug him in his bed properly. You are about to leave when you feel a pull in your hand. Looking up, you see Jimin is looking at you with his half closed eyes. Thank you, he mumbles with a soft smile. Seeing the smile, your heart flutters. You can see the smile forever. You can do anything to keep the smile intact on his face. Hmm? You give him a smile with a slight nod. You go back to your room. The next morning, you glance into Jimin's room and find him peacefully sleeping. Not wanting to wake him up, you tiptoe around his penthouse. Returning to the living room, you sit on the sofa thinking back to yesterday's events. You hear the door open and Jimin leaves his bedroom, looking sleepy. Good morning, you wished. How long have you been up? About an hour. I made you muffins. Oh, that's what smells so good. You see an excitement in his voice and his eyes. Hungry? Jimmy nods and you both head to the kitchen. They are so good. Muffin stuffed in his mouth. Jimmy stuffs another muffin in his mouth and you watch him with joy. He looks so different from yesterday. He is looking cute with his mouth stuffed with muffins. His white puffy cheeks, his pink rosy lips. You can't help but smile at him. It warms your heart to see how a simple muffin lights up his mood. I'm sorry about yesterday. I didn't want to leave you alone with Jack or come back after midnight. It makes your heart melt as how he asks for forgiveness for doing something that was not under his control. It's okay, I understand. Was everything okay after I left? Jack and I talked about our secrets, then he left. I'm sorry I've never told you he is my brother. To speak truly, I feel a little disappointed, but I understand why you wanted to keep it a secret. My relationship with Jack is complicated. You are about to say something when your phone vibrates with an incoming call. It's Lily. You pick up the phone. Can you come here, please? You feel she is crying. What happened? You become tensed. I broke up with Drew. I will be there soon. You hung up the phone and look at Jimin apologetically. Lily needs me. You should go. I have got some work to do anyway.